Something that we talked about yesterday with one of our guests was the mental toll that this situation, this pandemic takes on children and how it can impact their mental health and how best we can talk to them about these sorts of things. Well, one critical aspect or factor, I should say, that can really impact anyone's mental health, but especially children and other youth, is cyberbullying. And with everybody being at home right now, not in their usual places, we are spending a lot more time on our computers, on our cell phones, on our tablets. You name it, we're on it, right? I can't tell you, I don't want to tell you what the screen count, the screen amount of time that my phone keeps telling me I've spent day to day. The average is not pretty. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a lot. So imagine then being a young person and bombarded by just awful messages from people if you are the victim of cyberbullying. It's a real problem. And it's what we're going to talk about next with Jasmine Daya. She's managing principal of Jasmine Daya and Company, a personal injury law firm. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us on the line today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So tell me a little bit about, perhaps trends that you're seeing now that everybody is at home. Like I said, where everyone's on their phones, and that can lead to some problems potentially.
So it's very interesting because cyberbullying was already discussed quite a bit before COVID-19 and the situation we're in. And what we believe is going to happen is that we're going to see a spike in cyberbullying instead of the reverse, which is what we were hoping would happen. With more people talking about it, we believe that we would see a reduction in cyberbullying, and instead, it looks like we're going to see just the opposite. The World Health Organization released a statement today that said that 1.5 billion children have been impacted globally due to lockdowns and school closure, and that these children are more susceptible to cyberbullying and other risky behavior. So this is not just a Canadian situation, this is worldwide. And with technology, with these devices, bullying can occur not just with your friends and with the people in your school and with the people in your neighborhood, but the bullying can occur with people all over the world.
It's true. The internet is the great leveler in a lot of ways, right? Because it puts people who are halfway around the world within just a few keystrokes of you, and then you can talk to them or whatever. And while in some situations that's a beautiful thing that we can allow for more connectivity, it can also be a bit of a sinister one sometimes, especially in cases such as this.
Absolutely, because you don't know who's on the other side. You don't always know how old that person is, who that person is. You can't always see them. And with our children right now, I mean, I want to commend our educators and our politicians for mobilizing as fast as they did to bring online education to our children, as best as they could. But with that comes the increase in screen time. And you'd be surprised, actually. I'm also surprised when I see the statistics here, but the Canadian Pediatric Society recommends that for children under 2 years old, screen time should not occur. For children between 2 to 5 years old, screen time should be less than 1 hour a day. And for children that are 5 and older, they should not be on their screens for longer than 2 hours. Now, with my own 3 children, I can tell you that they are on their screens much more than 2 hours a day right now. And for a lot of parents, such as myself, part of it is I'm trying to work remotely. I'm telling my kids, just go amuse yourself. That's fine. Go watch Netflix. Go do something because I want to work. And then, sometimes with parents, we're all dealing with issues too, whether it's, dealing with the bills accruing or other things. You're just trying to get your kids to amuse themselves because we're not used to all the responsibilities of childcare 100% of the time because usually our kids are in school. But what does that mean? It means that they're on their screens more and more susceptible to the bullying.
Absolutely. And I would guess that, given all those competing priorities, and each one of them is important, just quickly, if there are some quick steps for parents to take to make sure that they're checking in with their kids and with their devices, how can they go about doing that?
So there's a few things that I have done. I'm not a really technological person. I'm sure some of your listeners may be more than me. There are all sorts of apps you can put on your kids' devices to monitor their screen time and what types of programs they're doing. What I do, because I haven't looked into all these things, I have a rule. In the evening, my kids have to put their devices in my bedroom, and that's how I know that they're not using them through the night. During the day, when they're on their chats with their friends, video conferencing for school or on their chats, I sort of creep into their room and act like I'm tidying up when really I'm just trying to check in to see who they're talking with. And of course, most importantly, communicate with your children. You know, you always want to be chatting with them, engaging with them. Who are they talking to? I mean, our kids right now are dealing with so much, and I don't think we've realized what the lack of socialization has done to them right now, because we're dealing with all these other issues, obviously. But, you know, I think communicating with your kids will go a long way.
Certainly, that is the biggest thing that we hear echoed much of the time. It's have those conversations, be present, and know what your kids are up to as much as you can anyway. Jasmine, thank you so much for your time today. I very much appreciate it.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You take care. All the best and health and happiness to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. That's Jasmine Daya, managing principal of Jasmine Daya and Company, a personal injury law firm, with some good tips on managing screen time and the rise of cyberbullying, which unfortunately we are likely to see